for the 2 months that you had permission, nobody realized that there was another event happening there.
It doesn't add up.
Real. This is what we are hearing happen to the event that has been advertised for quite some time. Even on the show, I think it was advertised. The convention. Yes. Peter Obi was in town. I think Lumumba was in town. Like all these heavy hitters.
Yeah, I mean, they are not, ordinary people, if you like.
Yeah. And yes, apparently the presidency has revoked their permission. On the day of the thing.
I mean, if it's because there was another event taking place there, that is difficult to believe. There should be good reason why this was called off, and we need to know. I mean, there should be some transparency.
We'll see what we can learn today. Yeah. The 6 a.m. news was brought to us by Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. And Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. Right, let's pop off with the Joy Business Report. Brought to you by Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life. And Africa World Airlines. Touching Africa, touching the world.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Finance Minister confident official creditors will agree on an MOU in today's meeting over Ghana's debt. Also, interest rates fall again as demand for treasury bills surge. And Ghana Cedi expected to lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market this year. Details coming up. My name is Darren Kwa. Thanks for being with us this holiday. Hello to our friends listening from Koforidua on KTU Radio. First up, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is confident the official creditors will agree on a memorandum of understanding in today's meeting over Ghana's debt. He therefore expects Ghana to receive $1.15 billion in funding from the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank by the end of February. The bilateral creditors, according to Bloomberg, are nearing agreement on the terms of debt restructuring. An agreement will enable the IMF Executive Board meet to review Ghana's performance under a program that started in May last year and approve a disbursement of $600 million, the second tranche of the $3 billion bailout. A board approval will also trigger the process for 2 World Bank disbursements totaling $550 million. The Bretton Woods institution has committed $300 million in budgetary support and another $250 million towards Ghana's Financial Stability Fund. Meantime, finance professor at the Andrews University in the U.S., Williams Pipra, is advising government to put in the necessary effort to convince the official creditors to restructure some $5.4 billion in loans. Professor Pipra says the government will have to cross the hurdle to restore the country's economic growth.
If you ask me, we may have to go in with a figure in mind to negotiate the 5.4 billion that we want. So whatever cutoff date that's being approved, we should be able to convince these external creditors that the 5.4 is what may help our economy to come back, to be able to help us to complete our restructuring program. So whatever cutoff dates that may be agreed by each of the parties, whether those in the Paris Club or China, the aim should be on the 5.4 billion. That should be the kind of discussion, because each of the cutoff dates will have a different figure that will be lower than the 5.4 that Ghana is anticipating to have.
Williams Pipra is a finance professor at the Andrews University in the U.S. Now, households in the private sector will suffer most as a result of the country's economic recovery this year. That's according to finance professor Godfrey Bokwin. He says a second phase of debt restructuring or external debt restructuring will bite the economy. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Bokwin said Ghana has not reached a stage where private sector-led economic transformation is done.
Ghana is not at a stage where we will actually practice private sector-led economic transformation and inclusive productivity growth. We are not there yet. we've been talking about the private sector as the engine of growth, but it doesn't feature prominently in implementation of policies and programs that actually put the interest of the private sector ahead of the public sector. And our resolve over the years is how do we make the public sector comfortable? To do so is at the expense of households and private sector. And that public sector that is collecting so much from household and private sector, if that public sector had been efficient in the delivery of public services, the net benefit will be positive. So in some European countries, they pay higher taxes, but there's quality public service delivery.
Professor Godfrey Bokpin of the University of Ghana Business School there. Now, interest rates fell once again with an anticipated ease in December 2023 inflation. According to auction results by the Bank of Ghana, demand for treasury bills surged. Here's more in this report.
The 91-day bill eased to 29.19% from 29.24% the previous week. The 182-day bill also went down by 14 basis points to 31.74%. Again, the 364-day bill retreated to 32.34% from 32.48% previously. With the Ghana Statistical Service set to announce December 2023 inflation on Wednesday, January 10, 2024, it is likely interest rates will go down further next week. Meanwhile, the government got 15.24% more than the targeted amount of 2.837 billion cedis. The majority of the bids came from the 91-day bill. 2.143 billion cedis that were tendered were all accepted. It was followed by the 182-day bill, in which 595.72 million cedis were tendered. All the bids were accepted. For the 364-day bill, 484.22 million cedis of the bids were tendered. The uptake was 479.43 million cedis.
And that was a business desk report. Now, government has been cautioned to make sure it doesn't cause its debt sustainability level when borrowing from the domestic market to trigger another downgrade of the country's credit ratings. Government resorted to the money market to raise funds through the T-bills market after Ghana was denied access to the international capital market to raise funds due to default in paying interest on loans. Speaking to Joy Business, economist Professor Peter Quartey advised the finance minister to constantly monitor the country's debt level in the money market in 2024 to avert a setback under the $3 billion IMF program.
But I must say that this should be the last time. It is a very painful exercise, and I don't think anybody, any investor, will be happy to go through this painful exercise again. As we continue to borrow, especially now that we are borrowing more from money market, treasury bills, etc., we are piling debt, and we should be cautious not to hit the debt sustainability threshold again, because that has had severe repercussions on the economy, and we ought to guard careful against this. Other countries are, actually African countries, are also marking time. Just that Kenya is struggling, Ethiopia is struggling, they've been downgraded. So I'm happy that we've gone through this painful exercise, but never again.
Economist Professor Peter Quartey. Now, the Ghana cedi is expected to lose about 8.4% in value to the US dollar in the retail market this year. That's according to IC Research. It foresees a mid-dollar rate to the cedi at 13 cedis 10 pesos to the dollar. Turning to other news, President of the Africa Tourism Research Network, Emmanuel Frimpong, is calling on government to support the private sector immensely if the country is to achieve its $4 billion revenue projection from the tourism sector. According to him, addressing the loopholes will help the country generate more revenue than the projected target. Speaking to Joy Business, he said the country can earn more from the tourism sector if the right strategy is adopted.
If you look at what this government has done in terms of how tourism can help, I think there has been some interest and some commitment. But on the ground, because if the president calls for presidential summit and it's done, what happens to the agency that is supposed to also make sure that all the things that were discussed, we go ahead to look at the implementation? That has always been the problem. I think we have sat down to strategize enough. What we need to do is to look at how do we implement it? How do we get the private sector? If you take the hotels, if you take the car rentals, if you take the restaurants, if you take the food vendors, the traditional caterers, and all the other tour operators, we need to sit down with each group and find out, okay, we want to achieve a target of employment in this sector. What can you do to help us achieve this target?
Emmanuel Frimpong, president of the Africa Tourism Research Network. Before we go, let's check the markets for you. On the commodity market this morning, crude oil open trading at $77 a barrel. Gold lost $10, is selling this morning at $2,035 an ounce. Cocoa selling at $4,204 a ton after losing $56. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Carr. The Super Morning Show continues with Kojo Yankson. And, actually, I was hoping that you'd be the face behind the new force.
Yeah, it turns out that it's Nana Bediako, a.k.a. Freedom Jacob Caesar, right?
Cheddar?
A.k.a. Cheddar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Kojo Yankson after all.
No, it's rather unfortunate. No. And he spoke out about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's one of the, people behind this event that got suddenly
Could
yanked.
that be reason?
Well, could it? It's something we have to examine.
Oh.
So he claims that, he has this Pan-African vision that he's trying to pursue. That's where the whole mask thing is coming from. He says he's not interested in being a president or anything. So, people shouldn't consider him their rival for, 2024's Ghanaian election. He says that he has loftier goals than that. It's nothing more African than Freedom Jacob Caesar,
a.k.a.
Cheddar. The Africanism is probably going to come out of these names later. At the moment, I'm not seeing the African link between Caesar, Jacob.
Hopefully.
Yeah, or even Freedom.
An
Typically
African.
Sorry?
An African Caesar?
Yeah, maybe that's where we are going with it. But so now he's revealed himself as the face behind the mask. Could it be a contributing factor to the cancelling of the event? Could it? After all, somebody who works for that movement got deported quite robustly by the government of Ghana for apparently not being the student she claimed to be. Okay.
Mystery.
Yeah. All right. Inspirational song brought to you by Durplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes, and Water Tank, the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Durplast goes, water flows. And I think you like this one. It's a nice, bouncy one from CT Praise.
Okay.
Good
morning, Aaron.
Yeah. You know where it came from, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Aaron.
We love CT Praise.
When in doubt.
Uh-huh.